Senator. I'm going to have to get used to that real quick, and it's real easy. It rolls right out. Michael Padilla, Senator, State of New Mexico. Are we happy to be here with our next senator? Let's give it up. And I also want to thank Michael and Michael's family and all of the good friends that are supporting our next senator for this seat, because, boy, what perfect timing. I thought, was it our next congresswoman or the lieutenant governor that said that she wanted to thank you for bringing us together after the convention, the Democratic convention? Did everybody see the convention? Did everybody pick that up? I'm a political junkie, so I watched both conventions. I watched the R's, and then of course I watched our guys. But what a stark contrast. It was a stark, absolute contrast. It's like looking out into this crowd, and this crowd is reflective of America. If you looked at the Democratic convention, what you saw in that sea of people, and you saw in that audience, was America. Because Democrats, I think, truly represent who and what we are in this country, and that decision is going to be made. Now, we've made our decision locally. We're going to put a guy like Michael into office because we know we don't have to question that passion for community, that passion for people is there. I can tell you that this man worked harder than anybody, but that's what it is to be a Democrat. So I'm going to tell you folks, I've got to do it. I can't help it. We have to say it every single time and every opportunity that we get. We have to encourage each other to go vote in November, because the stakes are getting harder, because the contrast, the division in our nation is getting greater. And if we don't step up and vote, then somebody is going to vote. And I'm going to tell you that the opposition, the Republicans, are going to lock ranks, and they're going to be tight. So guess what we have to do? We have to be tight. Are we going to be tight, folks?
Oh, yeah.
We have to be tight. We've got to get President Obama back into office. We've got to get Martin Heinrich in the Senate. We've got to get Michelle Lujan into the Congress. We have to do it because the stakes are amazingly high. The definition of who we are and what our belief system in this nation are at stake. Is it about people, or is it, as Romney said, corporations are people, my friend? Not the last time I checked. Not the last time in my country. And I got to tell you, unfortunately, Republicans like to reach out for the low-hanging fruit. Let me tell you what low-hanging fruit is. If you're a mom that is struggling to make ends meet, to feed your family, maybe you lost your job recently, and you have to, by no choice, get on welfare. And then you go to the local grocery store, you go to the Albertson or the Smiths or whatever, and you have to use a card to pay for those groceries. And somebody that's doing well and has a job sees you doing that, they may not like that. They may feel uncomfortable with that for some reason or other. That's low-hanging fruit. But when is the last time you saw somebody who was really on welfare, somebody that was driving around in a limousine who got massive, massive tax breaks, who was able to get record-breaking profits like the oil companies? When do you see them? When are you at a function that you see these folks? It's very rare. But you can go to the corner grocery store and you can see somebody using that EBT card. And so that's low-hanging fruit. So we've got to be mindful of that. We've got to understand what the stakes are. It is the stakes of America. So, Michael, you're going to go to Santa Fe, and I'm going to hold you to a standard. I've told our next senator that we need him to be committed to our community. Now, I was talking about the national politics, but at the end of the day, the politics for each and every one of us is right here in our community. So, Michael, I look forward to working with you. I know you're not going to let any of us down. You're going to work as hard as we all try to work to make sure that we have what we need our community. South Valley is getting better. It's getting to be a place that we can be proud of. You know, how many of us growing up in the Valley would hear, oh, you don't want to go over the South Valley? Well, we're changing that. Now we're going to have to lock the door. Senator, thank you for inviting me.